Hi everyone. Time again to start pruning my hydrangeas, and I know there are lots of thoughts and ways of doing this. This is how I do mine, and as you can see, this one here, birds are rather noisy this morning, but this one here, as you can see, it's going to be easy to prune because most of these are the old flower heads, and all I'm doing is cutting them down to the new buds, right to the bottom there. And that one, because I don't want it to be quite so tall, I'm going to take it down to there and do that with that one. If they're short, like most of these are, then I can cut them just by the joints themselves, the leaf joints. If they're very tall like that one, what I'm going to do is cut them down to the bottom, so I'll have some new growth coming up there for next year. Seems a shame to take these off, but at least then I'll have new growth for next year. So I'm going to cut it down to the bottom, and it's going to give the bush a better shape, rather than some tall and some short. And I'll do this all the way over, and if you think that that's high enough for you, because these will produce flower buds this year, because they're on growth from last year, so they will have flower buds which will probably be about that high. If I leave the very tall ones, the flower buds could be up as high as that. So I'm just taking off all the ones that really give a nice shape. And because this grows in the shade, and again with that one there, because it's much taller than those, I'll take it down to that there, so that then will come up in line with these. It's just really a case of trying to keep a balance of the bush itself. Again, that one there is very tall. If I leave that, these buds will come up high and they will flower this year. So I want to have a few more for next year, so I'll take that one down to the middle as well. And I'm just doing it to try and help the shape of the bush. And as they go all over, and if you wanted, if it's as tall as you want it, that's fine. Another one there which looks a little bit strange, just don't be afraid to cut them and go all over the bush so that you've got a nice shape there and there. And again, this one over here is a bit tall. I'll cut it down to there, continue all of these, and I'll finish those in a little while. But as you can see now, it's a much better shaped bush. There's some at the back which are very tall, but I'll actually want that to be tall because it'll be above these here. So all I'm going to do with these is literally prune them off, take the dead heads off, like that, all the way over. Anything you don't really want, just cut them off. And you can continue all over the bush, like that. That one is a little bit too tall again, so I shall take it just to there, just to even the bush out a little bit. And there we are. Some at the back I shall do later on. So those are the easy ones for me to do. These here is another one here that I'm going to do. And this one, I pruned some of the stems right back last year. So this one is all new growth come up straight from there. So as you can see, that is probably going to flower this year on the growth there. This one flowered last year, so I shall just take it back to there, and the same with this one, back to there. The bush is getting too big, so what I'm going to do, some of these, I'm going to take them right back to the middle there and cut them right back, because they're beginning to stretch too far over the garden and amongst all the other bushes. So if you want to leave them, that's fine, no problem at all. And again, as you see, all these have got the new growth on them, so they will probably flower now quite early this year. These down here again, coming right out over the lawn, don't really want them to do that, so I'm going to cut them right back there. Looks very drastic, but it's the only way to keep them. And as I come around, you'll see the same thing. A lot of these on the bottom, just too far over the garden. Cut them right back. And if you cut them right back to the middle, then it means that you will have new growth for this year. New growth will come out there, but it'll be more of an upright bush. So I'm going to leave this one because they are ready to flower this year, and probably later in the summer I may cut some of these down to the ground again, and then we'll have some fresh growth. All of this, these new shoots, I don't usually, there are mixed sort of ideas about whether to take cuttings now or later on, but what I do, because it's very new growth, I will take the tips off, just peel them off like that. There's a small amount left there. I will do that with quite a few of them, pull them down from the side like that, and I'll do that with quite a few of them. They may not all grow, but this time of the year they seem to be quite good. So what I've got a few there, literally take the lower leaves off them until you're left with about 2 there, and the same with all of these. And then I'll put them into some gritty compost or vermiculite or perlite into a pot, like I've shown you before, all spaced out around the pot. They are very tiny, but because the new growth is there, sometimes it roots much quicker. I will cover them with a polythene bag, separate in a pot, keep them in the shade, in the greenhouse if you can, or somewhere warm, not in full sunlight, and hopefully within about 2 months we might have some decent plants coming from those. So don't throw them away. If you don't want to sort of keep them, that's fine, but this is how I like to try and increase the supply of plants. So hopefully that will help with the hydrangeas, and I know there are different ideas and different thoughts, but I think we all have to do what we think is right for us. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.